Offer in your inbox. Palms sweaty. What if they pull it? You're not alone. The data shows negotiation is standard now. Many employers expect it. In the next minutes, we'll calm the nerves and walk you through a simple system. A brag sheet built with STAR and a clear BATNA. Then a 60-second counter to anchor near the top, plus TC levers, sign-on RSUs, PTO, remote, early review. Get it in writing. Educational video, outcomes vary. Before we slay, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and leave some love.
Okay, let's dive right in. Do you actually know how much money you might be leaving on the table just by, accepting the very first job offer you get?
It's a huge question. Most people don't realize the scale.
Right. Because you look at the national average for an annual raise, it's hovering somewhere between 3, maybe 4%. Barely keeps up with inflation these days.
Exactly. But compare that to the average increase for people who actually take the step to negotiate.
And what's that number?
It's an incredible 18.83% higher than the initial offer, on average. That's based on solid research.
Wow, nearly 19%? That's substantial.
And it's not just a one-time bump, right? Think about it.
Yeah.
Subscribe, ring the bell, and leave me a comment. Both cases, I read them all.
That difference, nearly 19%, compounded over a whole 40-year career. Easily an extra $1 million in lifetime earnings.
$1 million just from negotiating that first offer or subsequent ones.
That's the financial gravity we're talking about. So yeah, our mission today is basically to give you a strategic guide, how to get from that standard 3-4% raise to really aiming for a 20% boost in your total compensation.
And the timing couldn't be better, honestly. We've got new tools, new dynamics. We're going to cover all that, the exact scripts to use, how the market's changing.
And especially how these pay transparency laws are popping up everywhere. California, New York, Colorado, Washington.
Plus new ones coming in 2025, right? Illinois, Massachusetts.
Exactly. These laws give you, the candidate, leverage like never before. Seriously.
But let's hit the big one first, the fear. Because everyone feels it.
Oh, yeah. It's the main hurdle. People worry, am I going to sound greedy?
Yeah.
Or even worse, will they just pull the offer?
That fear is powerful, keeps a lot of people from even trying.
It really does. But the data tells a different story. Negotiation isn't some huge risk anymore. It's actually standard. It's expected.
Expected? How expected?
Well, one big survey found 84% of employers expect applicants to negotiate. They're waiting for it.
84%. So if you don't negotiate, you're actually the odd one out.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's become part of the hiring dance, the standard part of the courtship. We'll get into the real risk of an offer getting pulled later. It's not zero, but spoiler alert, most of that anxiety. It's costing people money, and it's way overblown.
All right, let's dig into that 20% goal then, because look, that number sounds pretty aggressive, especially when companies are telling current employees, hey, the cap for internal raises this year is like 3 or 4%.
Yeah, that's the tough reality inside a company. Hitting 20%, you're almost never doing that by staying put in the same role year after year.
So you basically have to switch jobs or negotiate hard on a new offer.
That's typically where you see those kinds of jumps. And this is where that compounding effect really kicks in. Successfully negotiating doesn't just mean more money in your first paycheck.
It resets your baseline, right? Permanently.
Exactly. Let's say you get a $100,000 offer. You negotiate that average 18.83% increase we talked about. Boom, you're starting at $118,830.
Okay.
Now, every single raise after that, every bonus, every 401k match, it's all calculated off that higher number, almost $19,000 higher.
Hit subscribe, turn on the bell, and let me know your thoughts.
From day one.
And that gap just gets wider and wider over like decades.
Creates this huge split in potential earnings over a career. And here's something people misunderstand about employers.
What's that?
They have really tight budgets for internal raises, often tied to quarterly results, things like that, very rigid. But for new hires, they operate within a set salary band for the role.
Ah, okay. So there's already a range planned.
Right. And they often actually want you to negotiate up within that band, maybe to the 60th or 75th percentile mark.
Why would they want that? Seems counterintuitive.
Because it makes you feel valued. It signals you're serious, you're committed long-term. It actually helps with retention. They want you to feel like you got a fair deal, even if it's still within the budget they allocated for that position anyway.
Interesting. So it's less adversarial than people think.
It can be, yeah. Which brings us to the big shift. Pay transparency laws.
This feels like the real game changer right now. We're moving away from just guessing what to ask for.
Totally. These laws are spreading fast, forcing companies to post salary ranges. It just shifts the power balance, big time, towards you, the applicant.
Because before, you were flying blind, right? Worrying about asking for too much, or worse, asking for too little and leaving cash on the table.
Exactly. Thousands, potentially. Now, the practical benefit is massive. Before you even get to the final interview stage,
You can do your homework.
right? Check the salary band. Use tools like levels.fi if you're in tech, Glassdoor. Even the Bureau of Labor Statistics data is solid.
And knowing that band lets you do what, tactically?
It lets you anchor effectively. Anchoring is this psychological thing where the first number mentioned kind of sets the stage for the whole negotiation.
Okay, sets the reference point.
Precisely. So if the published range is, say, 120K to 145K, you don't just vaguely ask for more. You anchor high. You say something based on the data.
Like aiming for the top of the band.
Yeah, or even slightly above it sometimes. You might anchor your request right at 145K, maybe even a touch more, and you back it up. You say, based on the market rate for my skills and experience, you're using objective data.
Okay, that makes sense. But let's circle back to the fear of the offer being rescinded. We said 87% of employers don't pull offers just for negotiating. What about that other 13%? What are people doing wrong there?
That's a really important question. Look, the risk isn't zero, but it's usually not about the act of negotiating. It's about how you do it.
So the delivery matters.
Hugely. Offers tend to get pulled when candidates get, well, extreme, making threats or ultimatums, being disrespectful.
Or maybe asking for the moon after the company already moved significantly.
Exactly. Or trying to bluff with a competing offer that doesn't actually exist. If it stops feeling like a collaborative discussion about value and starts feeling like hostility, that's when things can go south.
But if you keep it professional, focus on your value, use the data.
Then 87% of the time, according to that survey, you're fine. That fear is mostly unfounded if you handle it right.
Okay, so preparation is clearly key. Before you even start talking counteroffers, what are the absolute must-do prep steps?
Two critical things. Number one, quantify. Yeah, value. You absolutely have to move past just listing job duties from your resume.
So like create a brag sheet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. A brag sheet, something that turns your past wins into measurable results. We're talking KPIs, key performance indicators, numbers, money saved, revenue generated, efficiency gained.
So instead of saying manage social media,
It becomes increased lead generation from social media by 25% in 6 months, contributing to $6 in new sales. See the difference?
much more concrete. How do you structure that?
Use the STAR method.
Subscribe, ring the bell, and leave me a comment to win. I read them all.
It's super helpful.
Yeah.
Situation, task, action, result.
Okay, situation, task, action, result.
Lay out the context, situation, what you needed to do, task, what specific steps you took, action, and crucially, the measurable outcome, result. It gives clear proof of your impact.
Got it. That's your evidence. What's the second critical prep piece?
Establish your BTNA, your best alternative to a negotiated agreement.
Your walkaway point, basically.
Exactly. It's your plan B. If Company A offers $100K, but you know Company B has a solid offer for $110K on the table, that $110K is your BATNA. It gives you power.
So ideally, you should be juggling multiple applications.
Experts usually recommend having, say, 3 active processes going. The goal is to land at least 1 or 2 competing offers by the time you get to the negotiation stage. It gives you huge psychological confidence and leverage to push for that 20%.
Makes sense. And what's the one absolute don't during this phase? The golden rule.
Oh, easy. Never, ever, ever volunteer your current or previous salary. Ever.
Why is that so bad? Seems like a standard question.
Because it lets the recruiter anchor low. If they know you make $80, they might offer $85K and feel generous. But the market rate for the role might be $100. You just cost yourself $15,000 right there.
So what do you say when they ask? Because they will ask.
You politely pivot. Something like, you know, I'm really focused on the opportunity here and making sure the compensation reflects the market value for this role and my experience level. My research indicates similar roles are typically in the X to Y range.
Firm professional redirects to market value.
Exactly. You keep the focus on the value you bring to them and the market rate, not what you used to make somewhere else.
Okay, prep, done. Data gathered, value quantified, maybe you even have a BTNA. Now it's game time. You get the offer. What's the script? The 60-second script, let's call it.
Right. First step, genuine enthusiasm. Always start positive.
Like, thank you so much. I'm really excited about this.
Exactly. Thank you for the offer. I'm truly thrilled about the possibility of joining the team, and I'm ready to accept. Something warm. Then pivot immediately to your anchor.
State your counteroffer number.
Yes.
Specifically.
No ranges, no vagueness. If that band was 120K, 145K, you state your number. Based on my X years of experience, specifically delivering result 1 from your brag sheet and result 2, I am seeking a starting base salary of $145,000.
So, enthusiasm, specific number anchor, immediate justification with your quantified results.
That's the core of it. You use the anchoring effect to set 145K as the new reference point. And crucially, you shift the conversation. It's not about you needing more money, which can feel personal or emotional.
It's about you deserving that salary based on the objective value and results you bring.
Precisely. And keep the tone collaborative, not combative. That's key advice. Comes from places like Harvard's program on negotiation. You're working with them to align your value with their structure.
Okay, but what happens if they hit a wall on base salary? Sometimes that number is just fixed, right? Internal equity, budgets.
Absolutely. That happens often. And that is where aiming for 20% means looking at the total compensation, or TC. Base salary is just one piece.
Right, TC. So what else is on the table? What are the big negotiable items beyond base?
This is where you can really make up ground. Think. A one-time signing bonus, often called a sign-on bonus, that can be substantial.
Okay, sign-on bonus. What else?
Equity or stock. Especially RSUs, restricted stock units, in many corporate jobs. Huge potential value there.
RSU, those are shares that vest over time.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Then there's flexibility. Guaranteed remote work, maybe extra paid time off, PTO, that has real value.
Definitely. More time off is huge for some people.
And finally, think about your career trajectory. Negotiating for an earlier salary review cycle. Maybe getting reviewed in 6 months instead of the standard 12. That accelerates your earning potential.
So why are things like RSUs often more flexible for companies than just bumping the base salary?
It often comes down to accounting and immediate cash flow. Base salary is a fixed, ongoing cost that hits the books immediately. It also impacts internal pay bands and equity across the whole company.
Right, ripples across departments.
Yeah, but RSUs are stock options. Their value is tied to future company performance, the stock price. They often vest over time. So it's less of an immediate fixed cost impact for the company. There's usually more wiggle room there.
So if the recruiter says, look, we're truly maxed out on base salary.
That's your cue. Don't just give up. Pivot. Use the conditional concession script.
Okay, what does that sound like?
You stay calm, collaborative. Okay, I understand the budget constraints on the base salary. That makes sense. In that case, could we explore other options to bridge the gap? Perhaps adding an additional 5 days of PTO per year? Or maybe securing a formal salary and performance review after the first 6 months.
So you acknowledge their constraint, then immediately propose an alternative from that TC list, PTO, early review, maybe even asking about the signing bonus or RSU grant again.
Exactly. You trade something they say it's fixed, base, for something potentially more flexible, TC elements, to get closer to your overall 20% target value.
Smart. Now, it's important to remember this isn't the same for everyone, right? Negotiation priorities can really differ depending on who you are, where you are in your career.
Oh, definitely. Our sources point this out clearly. Take Gen Z and younger millennials. They tend to negotiate more often, maybe around 55% do.
But they might lack deep experience leverage sometimes.
Right. And their priorities often lean heavily towards remote work options and wanting that salary transparency up front.
Okay, what about mid-career folks? Gen X, older millennials?
For them, priorities often shift. Job security becomes bigger, good 401k matching, solid health insurance. Those benefits really matter.
Yeah.
But interestingly, this group is sometimes more hesitant to negotiate.
Why is that?
Often it's that fear of making waves, rocking the boat. They might worry about jeopardizing what they see as stable.
So knowing who you're negotiating with matters too. If your hire manager is Gen X, maybe leading with long-term stability points makes sense.
It could absolutely help frame the conversation effectively. Tailor your approach. But regardless of who you are, there are some classic mistakes everyone needs to avoid. Costly mistakes.
Okay, lay them out. What's the #1 failure?
Over-negotiating. Seriously.
Yeah.
If you make a clear, data-backed request and the company meets it, accept. Don't keep pushing for more and more minor things.
Because then you risk looking like you're negotiating in bad faith.
Exactly. Or just never satisfied. That's one way the offers do get pulled. You hit your target, confirm it, sign, and move on.
Makes sense. Don't get greedy after they've met your reasoned ask. What else?
Avoid emotional negotiation. Using threats, ultimatums, or focusing on your personal financial situation. I have student loans. My rent is high. Keep it professional. Focus on your business value, your track record, the market data.
Right. Stick to the STAR method results.
Third big mistake, ignoring total compensation. Only focusing on that base salary number. You have to calculate the real dollar value of good health insurance, that 401k match, the PTO days. Sometimes those benefits are worth thousands more than a small bump in base.
Good point. The whole package matters. And the final pitfall.
This one sounds basic, but it bites people all the time. Failing to get everything in writing.
Before you accept.
Before you formally accept, yes.
Yeah.
The final salary, the signing bonus details, the RSU vesting schedule, that guaranteed remote work agreement, everything needs to be in the official written offer letter. Verbal agreements have a nasty habit of disappearing.
Get it documented. Crucial.
Absolutely critical.
Okay, so wrapping this up.
Look, the path to getting that 20% increase, it's really paved with data, not demands. Use pay transparency info. Translate your experience into measurable results. And think strategically about total compensation equity, bonuses, flexibility are often where the real movement happens.
And the biggest takeaway seems to be managing that fear. If you approach it professionally with data, the risk isn't what most people imagine.
Far from it. Failure negotiation usually isn't the company saying no. It's the fear that stops you from asking professionally in the first place.
So we want to turn it over to you listening. Thinking about your next negotiation, what's the single biggest perk outside of base salary you're planning to really push for? Is it that early review? A big sign-on bonus? Guaranteed remote work?
Yeah, share your strategies below. We love hearing success stories.
Definitely let us know. And of course, if you found this helpful, subscribe for more deep dives like this one. Thanks for joining us.